What's going on, guys? Patrick here, bringing you a brand new video. Today we got another killer video for you guys, full of information. Today we're going to be looking at, is Bitcoin turning bearish? We're going to be looking at the bullish and the bearish scenario, as well as tons of other news that went on in the cryptocurrency space. But guys, before we get started with that, if you guys are interested in making money with cryptocurrencies, make sure you check out the first link in the description or the first link in the comments for the cryptocurrency trade alert group. I post every single one of the trades that brought me to a six-figure portfolio in this group, so that if you're a complete beginner, if you don't have time to do technical analysis, or you don't know how to do technical analysis, you can copy my exact trade. It takes 2 to 3 minutes to set up, and after that, profits are taken automatically for you. So it becomes very, very passive. We have altcoin trades, we have leverage trades, and we have the #1 community in the cryptocurrency space, full of people ready and able to answer any question that you have 24/7. We still have the 80% off for your first month. I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep this open for, but there are still a few coupon codes left. So your first month is 80% off, and then you guys can try it out, breaking down all the barriers for entry. Just recently, we have actually, like I told you guys in the last video, we had somebody double their portfolio in just a few months. Now again, that's not guaranteed, but if you remember last video, I talked about this green line over here, and that I didn't tell you guys specifically what it was for. Well, that was the first take profit of our short, and then from there, as you guys can tell, we were able to secure a ton of profits along the way. A very, very good trade, very similar with Ethereum. We were in a short for Ethereum as well, and yeah, you guys see what happened. There was an absolute major drop, and we were able to capitalize on that. Now, enough about that. Let's dive into some technical analysis and go into what I think is going to be happening in the future. Before we get into that, guys, I'm sorry I wasn't able to upload on Wednesday. My girlfriend was in the emergency room, so naturally I went to spend time with her. But everything is good. Everything should be back to normal now, and I'm able to upload this video. What I see happening for Bitcoin, 2 possible scenarios. I want to cover the bullish scenario. I want to cover the bearish scenario, because most people focus too much on trying to predict what is going to happen. It's more of an ego thing, trying to, be the one that was right. You get 10 wrong, you get 1 right. That's your claim to fame. I was right this one time. Remember, I was right this one time. I'm trying to give you guys both scenarios so we can actually look at what the price does, look at what Bitcoin does, and then we can analyze for ourselves and be in the right position no matter what happens. So what I'm looking at right now, after Bitcoin found a little bit of consolidation around this area, is for the short term. I think if Bitcoin stays within this area over here, which is roughly around the $8,700 mark, all the way down to $8,350, as long as we stay here, there is a bullish possibility of us breaking above the 1 hour EMA ribbon we see, which is going to be a little more bullish and allow us to trade up into the lower $9,000 levels. That's one thing I am eyeing. But again, this can change fast, and this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you guys what to do, just sharing with you guys what I'm looking at. And of course, like I said, it changes fast. So if you're part of the trailer group, you'll get my updates all the time with what's going on, the trades that I'm in. If you're watching them on YouTube videos, be cautious, be aware that these things can change very fast, and I'm only able to upload and update you guys when the videos come out. But again, that's what I'm looking at for the bullish scenario. On the bearish side, however, I did want to focus on the daily chart. Now, one thing you'll notice on the daily chart that hasn't happened for a while, we actually broke below the EMA ribbon. This happened on the 26th of February. Ever since the 6th of January, so the beginning of this year, 2020, we have been above the EMA ribbon. We've been trading above. It's been bullish. We've been having fun. The price has just gone from, or was like 7,500 all the way to a peak of 10,500. So a $3,000 gain ever since the beginning of the year is not bad whatsoever. However, on the 26th of February, we broke below that level, and we are a pretty big separation between the price we are at now and the actual EMA ribbon. You guys know what I always say, and this is just looking at the very basics. There's obviously a lot more that goes into creating your own trade. But when it comes to actually looking at it right now, similar to what we see happen a lot when there is a big gap in the price, or big gap in between the price and the EMA ribbon, we are looking for a potential move back up, either sideways to allow the EMA ribbon to catch up this way, or we see the price actually move up so that it can touch the EMA ribbon. It's going to be resistance this time, and then potentially bounce off of that. So those are the 2 outcomes. Now again, if we go up to touch the EMA ribbon, that would be in line with our more bullish scenario, because that would be in the lower $9,000 levels. At least on the daily chart, that's where we would be touching the EMA ribbon. But the bearish scenario to me that I'm looking at right now on the daily chart is for a close at roughly or below the $8,300 mark. To me, a close below here would be bearish and would indicate that we are looking into heading to the $7,700 to $7,900 levels. So that's sort of what I'm looking at, how I'm going to be playing it. I do personally believe that there's still a better chance, maybe like a 60-40% chance of us going a little bit higher from here. But again, that could change very soon, and I am not in any current position. I'm waiting for the right entry, especially after having caught this short that we were able to capitalize a ton of profits on. I'm not going to rush into any trade just because I don't want to lose the profits we made on there. So that's sort of the technical analysis. One more thing, I wanted to look at the 4-hour chart, simply because we like to analyze the EMA ribbon on the 1, the 4, and the daily. And that's just so we can get an idea of the overall trend. Now, similar to the 1 hour, similar to the daily, we are below the EMA ribbon. That's no surprise given the fact that we dropped very, very fast on all time frames. We dropped very, very fast, and we went from roughly $9,700 all the way down to $8,500. There was a point where Bitcoin dropped like $800 in just a few hours, I believe it was. So overall, it was bearish. We broke below on all accounts, and here we are again trading relatively far from the EMA ribbon. Where we would go to touch it would be the high 8,000. So again, the possibility of that happening is there, and I wanted to update you guys. But I did want to preface by saying currently, as the time I'm recording this, which is 12:45 p.m., just before the video goes live. Usually I have to edit it, I have to make thumbnail. It goes live at like 3 p.m. At this time, I am not in any current position. I am eyeing those two scenarios though for my future positions. I want to give you guys those updates because I know a lot of you guys do like hearing that. But do know and do focus on the fact that ever since that we have been in a bullish trend on the daily EMA ribbon, right? Looking at the daily chart, looking at the EMA ribbon, we have been on a bullish trend ever since the 6th of January, similar to what we saw happen here. We broke below it on November, and the only time we broke above it again was the 6th of January. So we're on the daily time frame. Usually, not always, we see this one, for example, was a lot faster. We notice that we usually stay in these trends for a longer period of time. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is actually the beginning of a little bit of downward bearish action for Bitcoin, before eventually, as you guys know, midterm and long term, I still believe we are on the bullish track and we are going to see new all-time highs relatively soon, especially if you take the history of Bitcoin. Relatively soon doesn't mean a few weeks, doesn't even mean a few months, but I do believe long term we are looking at that bullish price action. Of course, this drop might be in line with everything going on with the coronavirus, the S&P 500, which we're going to be talking about in just a little bit. But I did want to focus on that. Usually daily time frames, usually those trends last a little longer, so it's going to be interesting to see if we are actually in a few weeks of bearish action or if this is just a short-term thing and we're going to pump right back up. Well, I'm going to keep you guys updated. We're going to keep an eye out on that. But if we look at the market cap, we actually broke under $250 billion in market cap, which again, just the other day we were at like 300 billion. We broke above it. Things were looking good. Now we're under 250. Bitcoin is down almost 3% in the last 24 hours, which means most altcoins are going to be in the green. Chainlink is up 1.8%, one of the more notable names. FTX Huobi token is up almost 9%. Not bad for anybody holding that. But shortly after, we have the red. We have a lot more red than green in the market. We have Molecular Future, don't know what that is, but that's the biggest loser, down only 8%. So for the biggest loser, usually we see something like the 20 to 30% because it was a pump and dump. This one is only down 8%, which is not bad on a red day. But if we look at the S&P 500, what I wanted to focus on right here is that things have not been going good in any market. So even though Bitcoin's been down the last few days, everything pretty much has been down the last few days. The S&P 500 at one point was down 15.89%. Currently now, if we just move this and get an idea of where the price is at now, it's currently down like 13.8% from its high. This happening in just a few days. This was the 19th of February when it hit this high, and now just a few days later, it is down the 28th of February, down 13%, having gone all the way down to almost 16%. Now, of course, that indicates that as of right now, the BTC compared to the S&P 500, the Bitcoin was a better hold over the last few days, even though it dropped than the S&P 500, because it dropped less than the S&P 500, which again, is it good news if you're holding Bitcoin? Of course, we obviously want the price to go up, but like any market, and this is a clear indication, things go down. Dropping 15% is a big deal, and we actually saw Dow fall 1,191 points, which is the most in history. So clearly, there is an effect going on in the market. Is it just good timing between, the coronavirus coming in, but also a lot of people anticipating the market to eventually have a correction because it's been doing phenomenally well for the last few years, and people are expecting eventually things are going to have to cool off. This might be the indication that we're starting to see that happen. But again, there is also talks that the coronavirus had something to do with it, which is very possible as well, because it is starting to affect more and more. We are starting to see more and more news, and just recently we started to see more trending the news of coronavirus in the US, which of course scared a lot of people in the US, more cases, more, just more overall exposure to it, and that again might be causing a little bit of panic. But let's see how exactly this plays out. I'm very interested to see how the S&P 500 reacts to such a big drop, if it's going to continue doing this, or if it's going to eventually find its way, maybe level off a little bit. I'm going to keep you guys updated with what's going on. But guys, hopefully you did enjoy this video. The bullish and the bearish scenario, let me know what you guys think is going to happen, is the more likely one to happen. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think bullish scenario, we're going up to the low 9,000s? Or do you think bearish scenario, we are going to close the daily candle below 8,300 and we're heading down to the 7,700 to $7,900 level? Let me know your guys' thoughts. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on Monday for another video.